Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of AEW Dynamite for July 16th, 2025. This is coming off of the All In Texas pay-per-view event, a great show from AEW in Texas. How was the follow-up? Let's break it down. We had Tony Schiavone introducing Hangman Adam Page, the new World Heavyweight Champion. The crowd chanted, "You deserve it." He said the people deserve it. He said that they started a revolution. The crowd chanted, "Thank you, Hangman." He talked about how he walked into a war at All In Texas to free the championship. He gave thanks to everyone that fought the war, including Swerve Strickland. He said he shed a few tears, and if people think that he's not man enough, it doesn't matter because he is the world champion of the effing world. And that all got bleeped out. It was a solid promo from Hangman Page. Maybe the highlight of the show. Adam Page got a good reaction. AEW was in Chicago, and it was a unique venue. It was basically a theater. It's interesting when AEW changes up the locations a little bit. I feel like this might have been a bit too small, though, for television. It really looked like an independent wrestling venue. I think that some of the smaller venues where you have 3,000, 4,000 capacity, those are the best venues to do, in my opinion. This one may have been a bit too small. They are doing the residency. This is going to be going on for the next several weeks. It was a good crowd, and it looked like a nice venue watching it on TV, but I also feel like maybe it's a little bit too low rent looking for AEW. Just my opinion on that. Good promo from Paige, though, to start the show. We had the all-in video package. We had Matt and Nick Jackson, no longer Matthew and Nicholas, arriving to the theater in a rental car, an Uber, whatever it was, not their nice little limousine that they had. We had our first match of the evening, Kyle Fletcher versus Mascara Dorado. Basically a showcase match for Fletcher, give him a win after his loss at All In. Dorado did get in quite a bit of offense before losing. Your standard Dynamite match. Good wrestlers having a solid match, but you know who the winner is. You know what the point of the match is. It's to elevate Fletcher, give him a win, but you have to make the loser look good, which is trademark of AEW. They always got to make sure that the undercard guys look like they can hang with the upper guys. Fletcher ultimately picked up the victory after kicking out of some of Dorado's offense, such as the Code Red. Fletcher picked up the win with his brainbuster, and then he got on the mic and vowed to take everything away from the new TNT champion, Dustin Rhodes. No Dustin on this show. He will be on Collision, though. Hey, you know what? It's the TNT title, not the TBS title, but still, I feel like Dustin wins the title. He should be on Dynamite. The problem with that TNT title is it's on the B show, and the more it's on the B show, the more it feels like a B title, like it's not important. I would have liked to have seen Dustin cut a promo on this show and talk about how he's got a little bit of gas left in the tank, cut that passionate promo. I don't know. I would have had Dustin on Dynamite. Just my opinion. We didn't even need the Kyle Fletcher match. They could have put that on Collision. Just my take. We had Renee Paquette backstage talking to the Young Bucks, and we had the EVP sign erased, and it was changed to Matt and Nick. But then Don Callis came over to the Bucks and said what happened to them was an abomination. He thinks they could do some business together. Matt said that they're not going to join the Don Callis family, but they could always use some friends and they hugged it out with Don Callis. Looks like they will have some sort of an alliance moving forward. We had a backstage segment with the Hurt Syndicate, and MVP said they knew they were going to win, and they're begging for a legendary tag team to challenge them. I wonder if that's a little hint at what's to come. Maybe a certain team that reeks of awesomeness. I mean, he did say a legendary team. And then MJF talked about winning the Casino Gauntlet, and he said that he has something to prove against Hangman Page, and he plans on beating Paige clean. And he said his contract, his guaranteed match, is just a break glass in case of an emergency. And he said that nice guys do, in fact, finish last. It was a good promo, but I wish it was in front of the crowd. This was the only time we saw them on Dynamite, and these are guys that interact with the fans. They shouldn't be doing these backstage promos. They should be out there in front of the audience. Again, just my take. We had an 8-man tag team match, one of these all-star tag team matches that they hype up all the time. We had Josh Alexander and Hechicero and the Bucks going up against Jet Speed Bandido, who's the Ring of Honor champion, and Brody King. Bucks did not get any pyro, and their Titantron was screwed with. Who did this, by the way? Because it showed Swerve beating them. Was this Tony Khan that did this, or was this Swerve Strickland that did this, or Will Ospreay? I'm not even sure if it was established who was trolling these guys, but nonetheless, the Bucks were being humiliated. And then Justin Roberts even did a mock intro for the Bucks. Again, who put him up to that? I'm not sure. Match was fine. Another good match on the show, but fairly standard. What you would come to expect with Dynamite. Jet Speed doing some of their flashy moves, and then the Bucks doing their stuff. Then Brody King would come in and do the power moves and clean house. Things would break down. Everybody's in the ring. The Bucks wiped out everybody with super kicks. At one point, Nick accidentally hit Matt, but the Bucks managed to regroup. And then it ended up being 4-on-1 against Bandido, and it was too much for him to handle. Hechicero put the sleeper on him and got the win. Bad guys pick up the victory. I guess Hechicero's the next challenger for Bandido in the ROH title. I have little to no interest in that. Do not care. Match was all right. Adam Copelan came to the ring for a promo. The crowd was singing. This was a cool moment whenever they sing a song. And he brought up Christian Cage. He did confirm that he was not there to help Christian. He said Christian's an asshole. He talked about all the bad things Christian did in AEW to him. And he said he doesn't blame Nick Wayne for doing what he did. He tried to warn Christian, but Christian's ego was so inflated, he didn't see it coming. And he said he is back now to get his hands on FTR. He said when he came back to wrestling 5 years ago, he called FTR. He wanted to get back in shape. They were the guys to go with. And he said that even when they were in another company, they were talking about forming Rated FTR. But then when it finally happened in AEW, all they did was start complaining. And he said that they put him on the shelf for 4 months that he doesn't have. And now he's coming back to end FTR. Stokeley Hathaway, the manager, came out there with security, and he said that 3 anonymous people complained. And now if anybody is attacked, well, specifically if FTR gets attacked by Copelan, Copelan will be fired. and he told Copelan to go find a hobby and leave FTR alone. And Copelan said that, well, he doesn't have the ability to attack FTR. Nothing was said about Stokeley. Copelan beat up the security and then speared Stokeley Hathaway and got a little bit of payback, but obviously he's looking for more. Segment was good, although I question why would Tony Khan want to fire Adam Copelan? Like, in storyline, it doesn't make any sense. And the segment was fairly generic. I was almost hoping Stokeley would hit us with a bomb, say something like, "You're going to end up fired. You won't be the last former WWE guy that gets fired from AEW." Something like that, like a reference to Punk. I know people would have complained about it, but I feel like it needed something. It just felt run of the mill to me. We got Forbidden Door coming up, and I feel like the Copeland and Christian match isn't happening till All Out. That's in September in Toronto. That's 2 months away. And it feels like they got to really slow things down, and this storyline is going to move at a snail's pace right now. So yeah, it just felt like a little bit of filler to me. Copeland did do a good promo, though. We had a Mark Briscoe backstage promo, and he still has his sights set on MJF. He said MJF will pay for his sins. 9:15, we had the one women's match of the show. We had Tekla versus Queen Anamata versus Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. Winner gets $150,000 or whatever. I do not like these types of matches. Like, back in the day, they'd always talk about the winner's purses, but it's 2025. And it just feels very indie to do this type of match. Winner gets a big sum of money. It just feels like lazy booking to me. I actually want a storyline. I don't care about this fictional money that doesn't actually exist. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of these types of matches. Just my own personal opinion. And I feel like AEW is doing it way too often. They did that Pesos one a couple months ago for the CMLL show, and I feel like they're doing it too much. Anyways, match was fine. Everybody got in their offense. Then they're all four of them down to get the crowd pop. And then Willow hit the doctor bomb to Tekla, but then Chris Statlander pulled out the referee. Willow and Chris brawled up by the stage, and then back in the ring, Queen Anamata delivered a top rope foot stomp to Tekla, but Tekla kicked out of that. And then we had Sky Blue coming out there, and with the distraction, Julia got in the ring and spit mist in Amanata's face. And then Tekla took advantage of this and got the 1-2-3 victory. We had a Toni Storm promo in the balcony, which was kind of cool. She did her rhymes. She's the bitch you want to itch. She's the skank you want to spank. And she's the tramp that's still the champ. And she said if Mercedes Moné wants seconds, this buffet is always open. And she brought up how Luther is injured. And she said now her tits are pointing to the future. Athena interrupted, and she was on the Titantron, the big screen, whatever you want to call it. And she said she will soon be the forever AEW champion. She brought up how Mina Shirakawa is hurt. And she said there's nobody left to save Tony. And she said Tony's demise and murder are coming soon. It was an interesting segment, although I feel like I'm not fully invested in it just yet, but this is the start of a new storyline. I'm glad Athena is getting some TV time finally. I'm happy for her in that regard. And yeah, Toni's promo, it is what it is. We had, by the way, Toni finished up. She said if Athena is able, she will bend her over the table because she, Toni Storm, is timeless. We then had Nick Wayne and Christian, or not Christian, just Nick Wayne with Mother Wayne and Kip Sabian. And Nick Wayne talked about how Christian has passed his expiration date. He became a liability. Nick said he knew it months ago when Christian was trying to just focus on himself in the world title. And Nick brought up how he's only 20 years old. And the question is, how many titles is he going to win when it's all said and done? He said Christian created a monster, and Nick Wayne said he is the new face of AEW. We'll see. We'll see if Nick Wayne ends up being the next big thing in wrestling. I don't know about that one, but time will tell. We had Don Callis introducing Okada, who is the new unified champion, and Okada has new music, which is somehow even more generic than the other song he had. He won a quick squash match, and then afterwards he got on the microphone. He's pissed off because Swerve cost the Young Bucks their EVP spots. He called Swerve a bitch, and then Swerve came out there and called Okada a bitch back, and Don Callis had Okada leave the ring for the time being. So yeah, just establishing a potential new feud, but not a whole lot of meat to this one. Just two guys calling each other bitches. We had our main event of the evening, which was the Death Riders versus Adam Page, Will Hobbs, and Mark Briscoe. Interference from Marina attacking Hobbs while the referee was distracted. You tapped out, chants at Moxley. By the way, this was such a grueling match, this Texas death match, the blood and the glass and everything. And these guys are back on TV the next Wednesday. Shouldn't you have them sell the injuries and take a week off? I don't know. I feel like you do a match as brutal as a Texas death match and all the crazy stuff you did. Like, sell it. Keep these guys off TV for a week or two. Just saying. Like, why did we need this trios match? It just felt unnecessary. We had Marina going after Briscoe as well. And then afterwards, Adam Page got the hot tag and he was selling his knee. Things broke down. Page pinned Claudio despite having the issues with his knee. I mean, he was limping and Moxley had a Band-Aid on, but come on. Like, these guys shouldn't even be on the show. Let them take a week off to sell the brutality of this match. After it was over, we got the post-match attack. The Death Riders were beating down Paige, but then Darby Allin showed up in the balcony area, and Moxley was distracted. Paige took out Moxley with the buckshot lariat, and the good guys stood tall to end this episode of Dynamite. Overall, I thought the show was okay. I have to say, I was a little disappointed in the follow-up to All In. Like, All In is AEW's WrestleMania, right? So shouldn't the first Dynamite afterwards be like this blockbuster episode that gets you hyped up for the new season and the new storylines? It just felt a bit subdued. Like, Tony Khan's thought process is, okay, we're 6 weeks until Forbidden Door and All Out is 8 weeks away. So we got to take our time here and just slow things down a little bit. It was absolutely a skippable Dynamite. And I actually think it was a little below average. So I'm going with a 4 out of 10 for this Dynamite. I think if you skipped this one, you really didn't miss anything. Like, there were no real explosive angles. The matches were fine, but nothing I'll remember a week from now. It was kind of a boring show. So 4 out of 10. I'm definitely disappointed. I might have gone with a 5 if it was a different week, but coming off of All In, I really think, like, if they had some potential new eyeballs for this show, like, I would have gone balls to the walls. Like, if I'm running AEW and I had a well-received show like All In, I'd be like, okay, maybe some people are going to watch Dynamite that haven't been watching in a while. I'm going to give them this crazy show that they're never going to forget. And this just wasn't it. They needed some hot angle or something, and we didn't have it on this show. 4 out of 10. And I hope they'll pick things up. But yeah, Forbidden Door, it's the whole AEW versus Japan, AEW versus Mexico. So that's really just focused on the wrestling. All Out will be the next, to me, really interesting show. But that's 8 weeks away, and they're going to be taking their time with these storylines. I don't really care about seeing Moxley versus Darby at this point. Like, I think Moxley needs to take a break. I'm kind of over his character at this point. But I guess they're going to have a follow-up on that, so there you go. That's all I got for the Dynamite recap. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, please give a thumbs up and tell a friend about the No DQ YouTube channel. Stay tuned. We got some episodes of Wrestling's Hottest Audacious Takes and another No DQ roundtable coming up over the next several days on the No DQ channel. I will be back, of course, for the SmackDown recap, and stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the latest news and rumors. Say yes to No DQ, and I will see you all next time.